Hey everyone, welcome back to Poplar Preparedness. I am going to be going through a whole bunch of things that I am stocking up on for over-the-counter medications and things that you should probably get your hands on. These things are nothing with a prescription. This is all stuff that you can just purchase online, have delivered to your house. I will have links in the description down below for all of these things to get them on Amazon, delivered directly to you, and they should all be in stock. None of the things that I'm about to say should be considered in any way, shape, or form medical advice. I am going to be talking about items and commodities, all right? And I will be giving you some ideas on how those things can be used and how they can be useful, but that's not to say that you should use them for those things. You should always consult a medical doctor, not an accountant that is on the internet. All right, with that said, let's jump into what I am stocking up on right now. The biggest thing that you need to be stocking up on is bandages. You need lots and lots of bandages. So this is, these are just regular gauze bandages, what you would use to stuff a wound. Just come individually wrapped. They are sterile. These are intended for, human use. So that's what they are certified as. And don't get caught short with not enough of these, all right? These things are standard. You will go through a ton of these. If you've ever cut yourself or come back from a surgery and you have to change dressings a lot, you go through a ton of these. So you can get these in boxes. This is a 36-pack. I was buying this on the subscription plan with Amazon, so I got the 15% discount if I got a box every month, and you can just change what that delivery for that month is going to be. Here are combine pads. So these individually wrapped. You're going to see a theme here. Something I've been learning from the internets is that you want non-stick bandages, right? So for a lot of things, for wounds, you want to put a non-stick bandage down below, right against the wound, or else the wound will get all attached to the bandage. So having a whole bunch of these are my big ones. I only got 20 of these, but that's a start there. Actually, those are my small ones. I mean, those are my medium-sized ones. I have a bunch of the bigger ones. All right, you just need one layer of these just to keep the wound from getting stuck to it. I just had all these things come in the last couple days, so that's 75 of those. And then I have some more non-adhering pads, real small ones, $100 of those. So these are real useful, and then you want to put gauze on top of that, from what I can understand. Make sure you have some medical books so that it can walk you through how to do these things properly. Make sure you have lots of medical tape, paper tape, all those kind of things. Make sure you have tape to hold down bandages and everything like that. Can you use, bed sheets that are ripped up and sterilized? Yes, you can. Is this nicer and better? Yeah, it probably is, all right? When you're doing that, of course, you need to protect yourself if you're treating someone else. Lots of latex gloves. These come in cases. They are back in stock again, so you can get these. For a while, they were gone. Like, you couldn't get them, period. So in keeping with the bandages, but also for like burns and stuff like that, petroleum jelly, you can actually make a non-adhering pad by putting petroleum jelly down and then putting the bandages on top of it. Apparently, the best practice is, and you can correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong. I'm still learning, right? Put the petroleum jelly down on the wound itself, and then put a non-adhering pad on top of that, and then put the dressing on top of that. You can also just treat the non-adhering pad with petroleum jelly, and that should help things stay out of the wound, as well as keeping the pad from connecting itself to the wound, which you don't want, right? Along those lines of actually sealing up a wound, pick up a whole bunch of super glue. Small tubes of super glue can be used to seal smaller wounds and keep them together. And that's a good idea to have a bunch of super glue. Is that the best thing in the world to be using? Probably not. Are there harmful chemicals in there? Yeah, there are. You can burn the wound, so it can be not super comfortable, but it will function. And there is something to be said about that. So if you need something that'll function, go ahead and do that. Along the same lines, skin staplers. Skin staplers are what they use. This is not what they use, but things like this are what they use in hospitals to close up surgeries. These are actually, when it says stapler, it doesn't use metal staples. It uses nylon threads, basically. Now, they will have to be taken out, so make sure that you get at least one pack that has forceps and cutters in them. But once you get the forceps and cutters, then you can get the cheaper ones that don't have that part in there. These are like $11, and they have 35 staples in them. Get a bunch of these. You can crack open the pack and seal up a wound, and a trained monkey can. It doesn't even have to be a trained monkey. It could be like just a regular monkey could figure out how to use that. You just pinch the skin together and staple. You can practice on a piece of meat. You can practice on banana. That's not a bad idea. Now, for more advanced learnings, this is not for actually doing this, but this is for learning how to do this. They have these practice suture kits, okay? It comes in a little box there, just a cardboard box. But you get a silicone suture practice target with a bunch of different kinds of wounds. Some that are wider than others and that kind of thing. Some different weird angles and stuff, puncture wounds and stuff like that. And then what you do is you use the provided needles and tools, basic tools. This is a practice kit. You probably don't want to use these actually to, even in an emergency situation, preferably would have better tools than this, but it comes with threads. This is not the best thread, once again. This is very fine thread because this thing is a cheap kit. It's made for practice, but you get the scissors and everything like that. This will get you practicing. And I think it was like $20 or something like that. That's a great deal. Has a little instruction card in there about how to actually do the different kinds of sutures and stuff like that. If you've never sutured anything in your life, like me, this is really helpful. I'm looking forward to playing around with this and learning some things on how to do that. So be thinking about that. Another thing that you really, really need is thermometers. Now, this is a digital thermometer, which is not ideal. So I got multiples of these, and several of these are going to be going into the EMP kit, the EMP Shield kit. So think along those lines. Another thing to have is a blood oxygen meter. Another blood oxygen meter is going into my Faraday cage as well, because that's electronic. That tells you the heartbeat as well as how much oxygen is in the blood, which is a huge thing, especially with the cough. A lot of people were really needing that. All right, we're going into kind of more medications, sort of. So athlete's foot. I've never had athlete's foot, but apparently this works. But if you look down here, it's not just athlete's foot. What it is it is an antifungal. It is designed to kill funguses that are growing on your skin. In a grid down situation or a situation where medical care is not as available, you need some things to... Now, I was looking for just the powdered stuff, but apparently it's cheaper to buy it in spray can form, so you can spray the powder on. I don't know why that is, but that's just apparently what it is. Make sure you have a bunch of lip balm. Lip balm is important. You can use the Vaseline if you just if you don't have a lip balm, but chapped lips And you can use this on other body parts too. If fingers get really chapped, you can do that on that. Don't use it on your feet and then on your lips, because that's just weird. Please, people, don't be weird. My most important thing that I carry wherever I go traveling is Pepto-Bismol, basically. It is bismuth, pink stuff. This stuff is amazing because it has antimicrobial properties. This stuff performs basically the same way that silver does. So if you were to ingest silver, that would be a waste of money. But bismuth does the same thing. It will kill all the bacteria and stuff in your tract. Stuff that it comes in contact with will be killed. This will stay in your digestive tract until it gets passed out. It won't get absorbed by your bloodstream. Same with silver. Silver will not get absorbed by your bloodstream. It's safe. But bismuth does the same thing, but it's a lot cheaper. Basically, if I think that I may have been exposed to some foodborne, undercooked food or contaminated food or water that's been contaminated, this can kill Giardia. There are scientific studies out there that show that bismuth coming in contact with Giardia spores kill the Giardia spores. That is huge. Giardia can kill you. But if you take this relatively soon thereafter, this will save you. So that's important. I mean, also what it does is it causes your lower intestine to absorb more water, which if you have the runs, it will actually slow the runs down and increase the absorption of water, which means you are less dehydrated. And that's a huge threat of, diarrheas and stuff like that, is that you become dehydrated, right? This actually treats the dehydration, treats the runs, and will destroy a lot of the stuff that's in your tract that's causing you to get the runs. So it's a boom, 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 great. Imodium is actually rather dangerous. So be careful with that. When you're in the first world and you have medical care and everything like that, that's one thing. But if you're trying to stop the runs and you take a lot of Imodium, it can block you up, and that can trap a lot of bad stuff in you and can actually cause you physical damage. I would strongly recommend you go a different route and get lots of pink stuff. You can get these in pill form. These are chewables. You can also get the liquid. I think the chewables and the pills are going to last longer. The pills are a little bit cheaper, so that's mostly what I have, but the chewables are actually nice because they seem to be the fastest working. Make sure you have basically the Benadryl type stuff. This is generic Benadryl. That is good stuff because it's a great sleep aid if you need that. But antihistamines are huge because if you get a whole bunch of bee stings, if you get anything that's causing a large allergic reaction, you jump into a bunch of poison ivy. You need some antihistamines to take that allergic reaction down. So have some of that. You never know when you might need it or someone else might need it. And in the worst case scenario, you can use it as a sleep aid. Antacids. Make sure you have antacids. You're going to be changing your diet, and you may even have medical conditions where you may need antacids because you have acid reflux disease or whatever. You may need antacids. If you get old, that is a disease right there, right? And you may need antacids. Cough syrup. Have cough syrup. I cracked into this bottle back when I had the cough, so I don't usually get sick, so I don't usually use this kind of stuff. I'm one of those guys that just I don't take medications. I don't do that kind of thing. But the cough syrup was useful to help put me down for sleep and to suppress the cough when it was difficult to cough because it was very sore and everything like that. All right. Everyone, you need to have these two things in your cabinet. You need to have your aspirin and you need to have your ibuprofen. I'm a big fan of the ibuprofen personally, but That's just me. But you need to have both. You can't get a lot of medications, a lot of pain medications, but what you can do is you can get both of these, and they relieve pain in different ways. So you can actually take some of both at the same time, and you'll actually get double the relief, but without them interacting with each other. So you don't get double the harmful effects. So you don't want to take like just double the amount of these, because that can cause double the damage. Whereas if you take some of these and mix them together, that's something that's been recommended by doctors for a while now. It's a safe way of getting some additional pain relief without, one, costing a whole lot more, and two, without having interactions or drugs causing problems and stuff like that. Once again, all the stuff that I've just covered, I am not a medical advice person. I am not giving you any of that. I'm telling you what I'm stocking up on. Another thing that I don't have on the table right now is get a dissection kit. So like the kits that you use to cut open frogs and stuff like that, you can get a little bit nicer of a dissection kit, and that can be used for surgeries in a pinch, okay? Not optimal, but if you need to get in and do a surgery on your kitchen room table, what tools are you going to use? Are you going to use kitchen knives? Because that's a horrible idea. Are you going to use your pocket knife? Horrible idea. You want to have dedicated tools to dig a deep splinter out of somebody's arm, or something that may have fragmented into somebody's abdomen or something like that. If you need to do that, first off, take them to a hospital if it's open. If you can't do that, then you need to have dedicated tools for that, that you can sterilize and such. Do you have things to sterilize it with? Do you have alcohol? Do you have that kind of stuff? Do you have going back to the bandages, do you have lots and lots of bandages, because you're going to need them? Do you have sponges that you can insert and clean up wounds and stuff with? I'm talking about medical sponges, not like bathroom cleaning sponges, right? So hopefully some of those things have been piquing your interest and getting some wheels turning in your brain. There's a lot more that you can be said, and a lot more things. Some of the things I haven't just been buying up recently that I have in other rooms, but other things I have skipped because I didn't think it was quite as necessary. But if you have other suggestions, pop them in the comments down below. But please do consider stocking up on medical things. Recently, we have seen people being turned away from medical care because they were making the wrong choices. We're seeing over in Germany, people being turned away because they belong to the wrong ethnicity. Friends, wake up. If you have the wrong social credit score, you may be turned away from medical care in the near future. That's the world that we're moving into. That's the world we've already started to move into, and we've seen it happen already. Mark my words. We've seen it already, so don't call me a conspiracy theorist. It's happening right now. So, where we'll go from here? Will it get better magically? I don't know. Could it get worse? Absolutely. So, make sure that you can treat yourself and your family or other people that you care about. If you can set up an improvised medical clinic, Southern Prepper One has done a whole bunch of videos on stuff like this. He's been helpful to me getting some ideas. I'd never heard of skin staplers before until I saw some of his videos about that kind of stuff. So you might want to check him out if you want to get more in-depth in setting up a clinic at your house. All right. God bless you all. I will see you again here at 6 a.m. tomorrow.